Hi, my name's Ty Clement. This is a drawing I created called the Yin Yang Snowman. I scribbled it out here just now in the snow here in Montana for y'all, so I can give you a really quick description of what this is about. The Yin Yang Snowman is a map of human consciousness. It has two parts, the adult self and the kid self. The kid self has child mind and childish mind. The adult self has integrity or whole mind and righteous mind. Now, what are all these things? What is this Yin Yang Snowman all about? He's very goofy, I'll admit. It's not even drawn that well right now here out in the snow. But this is a really important key for us all if we want to be accountable for all that we are. Without this map, we can't quickly and easily refer to the part of ourself we are in as we relate with our friends or partners in dialogue. That'll make more sense in a minute. Okay, so let's talk about child mind first. That's our sweet spot, life's sweet spot. That's where we feel wonder and awe and open-mindedness, and we discover and we learn and we think new ideas. Child mind is great. Child mind obviously needs toys to play with, things to do, stimulation, all that stuff. Okay, childish mind. This is where we end up when we get frustrated in our pursuit of child mind joy, trying to do something we wanted to do, but then we are given a limit or we run into some kind of boundary. We get frustrated with either tiredness, hunger, thirst, having to go to the bathroom. Just remember back to childhood, the things that interrupted your play, okay? It sinks you down into childish mind. Maybe your friend says something mean to you, it hurts your feelings. Childish mind is tough stuff. That's where we feel our tougher emotions. When we feel childish mind inflame, we seek comfort often, so addiction behaviors would be part of childish mind. So righteous mind is like the pious mind. It's the we know what's right here kind of mind. It's useful in that it sees pretty quickly right and wrong, up, down, that sort of thing. But it's pretty one-sided in that it only sees its perspective. So between righteous mind and childish mind, you end up with a my way or the highway kind of emotion emanating from a person. And we all know what it feels like to get in that spot when we're feeling tired, hungry, worn out, or depressed or moody. And so that's a relationship that's important to recognize. The childish mind and righteous mind, they usually go together, and they're usually working together to serve each other, okay? And like I said, that's pretty much the my way or the highway approach to life. Sometimes we all need that, sometimes we do that, but that's not where we generally want to probably be. Let's talk about child mind. Child mind is so vulnerable. So it needs parent mind. I have called it previously, but here I'm just calling it integrity mind. I'm not sure the best word for it. What we're talking about is an awareness that can see both sides of the coin. In all situations, it's patient. It takes time to find out the first perspective, but also secondary perspectives. It's, I guess, what you would call a more dialectical perspective, a more whole perspective. So what we have is this parent mind or integrity mind trying to watch out for child mind in an ideal situation in our life. So hopefully with our integrity mind, we can figure out what we need to get to where we're trying to go tomorrow, to do the things we need to do for work or play or to make our life thrive. For example, if we need to exercise, our parent mind has to go find a dance class, sign up for it, for our child mind, so we can get there and then not have to worry about pain. Our adult self took care of that already. When we get to the class, we just relax. We get time to go down to our child self, experience wonder and joy. And so that's an example of like how in our day we can shift from adult mind into child mind and construct hopefully days where we get to do that a lot, where we get to often, switch from an engagement with an adult mind itself, maybe, at work, working on a project with a work partner, then shifting to child mind. Maybe we take a walk for coffee and we, go watch some birds, some ducks at the duck pond or something on the way to engage our child mind. So this back and forth quality is really important between child mind and integrity mind because that's what keeps us in the what I'd call the one for all for one mindset. It's a sense of let's all do what we're doing because we're extremely interested in it. We feel we have a talent for it, a purpose connected to it. Let's all do the things that matter most to our child mind. And let's keep our adult selves kind of doing the steps that are needed to keep that work going and keep it safe and balanced. So Again, the idea here is if we can find a way to all be doing that individually and respecting each other's boundaries, you know, in space and time, and sharing resources as we all do that, we can end up with a pretty comfortable society where people basically are really being responsible for their own self. They're not being babysat by someone else's authority, which is a righteous mind system. Righteous mind authority systems, they're required when people are spending most of their time in a childish mind place where they pretty much are trying to just get away with whatever they can get away with. We see a lot of that big free-for-all happening right now in America, and I think it's time to kind of all of us say the buck stops here, like not outside anywhere, but here, like in ourself, by acknowledging that, yes, I am a person, I'm Ty Clement, I've got my childish mind on board. Okay, if I don't get what I need, I get frustrated. I've got my child mind on board. If I have what I need, I want to play and engage and discover. If I have my adult self on board in a kind of integrity, balanced way, then I want to have time to keep my life organized and structured in a way that works for me. If I want to have a little bit of righteous mind on board, well, then I can make sure people don't walk all over me. If people step on me, I can say, hey, that hurts. Please don't do that. And if they say, what? I can say, oh, I'm sorry, did I hurt your feelings by telling you that you were hurting my feelings? And then we can talk about it based on a key like this, and we can have a discussion of how we can all stop hurting each other's feelings. It's complicated stuff. We all know that. That's why we need this map, because without the map, it's really hard. Just like if you went to New York City without a map, you'd be pretty confused trying to find your way around. I found as a therapist that without this map, it's hard to easily refer to where we are in a common way, therapy session to therapy session with a client. When we establish this map, a client and I, then we can really continue our conversations around this map so that themes emerge that are clearly consistent. Patterns are clear on the map. And if you draw this map for yourself and you play around with this, when you have a talk with your loved one and you've had a conflict and you kind of own, oh, I know, I was kind of childish-minded, I had a hard day, or, you know, kind of go with the map as you describe yourself, I think you'll find it's an incredible tool between parents and children, too, because, remember, children have an adult mind, too. And parents have a huge childish mind. We all get very frustrated parenting. It's hard. So explore this key and have fun with it. My next video will be about how to hold your end of the stick in relationship, okay? And that's something that requires this key. So go ahead and draw this key a little. Explore it a little in your dialogues and your sort of self-analysis throughout the day. I think you'll see it's really useful to find a common and consistent way to map out your experience and what you're going through throughout your day and how you're jumping around in your awareness of self. See you soon.